This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball, and tonight from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, the I-70 series in interleague play as the Kansas City Royals and St. Louis Cardinals hook up in Game 1 of a 3-game weekend series. With Jim Hayes and Al Raboski, the Mad Hungarian, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us. You heard it on the pregame show, the Cardinals dealing with all types of injuries, and yet, Al, the Cardinals enjoyed the off day yesterday, much needed, because the road trip, it was tough, but St. Louis wins 4 of 7.
It was tough, and they closed out the final win on Wednesday, and they were ready for that off day. They're also ready for the Kansas City Royals. Since the last time they met, these are the numbers. I think the thing you have to keep in mind is the Royals have won 4 straight. The Cardinals have lengthened their lead. This is a showdown of the 2 first-place clubs in the Central Division, and the Cardinals have the best record in baseball at home, 22-7.
Jaime Garcia will get the call tonight. Yordano Ventura, hard-throwing right-hander for Kansas City. The Cardinals, the Royals, Game 1 coming up on Fox Sports Midwest.
of aces. But in the first round of the I-70 series, a royal flush was the better hand. Kendrys Morales stole the show thanks to 2 big league swings. But Michael Wacha's 7 innings of shutout baseball saved the Cardinals from being swept away. In Kansas City, the Royals remain focused on defending their American League crown. Across the state, the Redbirds are rolling towards yet another postseason appearance. It's the Royals. It's the Redbirds. Round 2 starts now.
Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. Right now, a beautiful evening for baseball. Let's hope the rain stays away. Game 1, the Cardinals and the Royals on Fox Sports Midwest. How about this? Jaime Garcia measuring his stride before our first pitch.
A lot of people do it in different ways, but you can see how he's got it. He walks it off and sit there, and now watch, you'll scratch right there. What he's doing there is that's where he wants his landing foot. He wants it to stay pretty much in that area right there. If he gets it too far, you know, to the first base side, he's really throwing across his body. So that keeps him, you know, his motion, it keeps everything compact and keeps him on line to home plate.
First pitch knocked out of play by Alcides Escobar, and we're underway. Kansas City Royals come in with a record of 34-23. And Escobar has been as durable as anyone in the American League at shortstop, tremendous defender. You could say that by looking at the numbers for the Kansas City Royals. Defensively, one of the best teams in baseball. Escobar, 4 hits against the left-hander of St. Louis, and that's chopped foul.
Of course, Ned Yost knew Escobar from their days together in Milwaukee. And you're right, he played every game last year. Never missed a game in the regular season or the playoffs. He did have a stint this year on the DL, the 7-day concussion DL.
And he's missed a total of 9 games. 1-2 pitch, misses down and in, evens it up. Tony Randazzo is calling the balls and strikes. Will Little down at first, Phil Cuzzy at second, the crew chief, longtime umpire Jerry Davis at third. Here's a 2-2. Looking out into the seats. Got the sea of red and mixed in there some of that royal blue. Fans from the other side of the state making a weekend of it here in St. Louis.
I would imagine there's some fans around the state are questioning how we playing this game with so much rain today.
Escobar, very good at bat to start things off. 6 pitches already. As a team, Kansas City is hitting .269. And as Al told you during the open, they're coming off a sweep at Minnesota. Molina sets up outside. The 2-2. Ground ball hit to short. There's Johnny Peralta. 1 away. Ned Yost lineup: Escobar, now Moustakas, and Kane here in the first. Hosmer, Perez, Gordon, Rios, Infante, and Ventura. Mike Moustakas, this time last year, was in the minor leagues. Got off to an incredible start. Hit .356 during the month of April. And that was his highest average for a single month any point in his career. And to put it in perspective, he did not collect his 67th hit of the season until the middle of August. And he's already done that this year. 1 ball, 1 strike.
When he got sent down to AAA, he realized that he was no longer having fun with baseball and kind of challenged himself to, hey, this is a kid's game. Go out and have fun. Get away from the media. Get away from the fans. And he had a tremendous time down there. It came up and he's been hitting ever since.
And a ground ball that's chopped to the right side. Wong off balance. The stretch by Reynolds. Oh, and a play by Colton Wong.
Talked about the Royals defense. Well, the Cardinals can throw a little defense at you too. And Colton Wong has made so many great plays. He was playing in short right field, but for a second baseman, maybe the strongest throwing arm in the game from second base. We showed you one right there, running into left field and then reversing and throwing. You know, he's done that quite a few times this year.
There's a look at the Cardinals defense presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Here's Lorenzo Cain, very athletic center fielder, hitting .281 with 4 home runs and 24 RBIs. Popped up to the right side. It is playable. Wong calling for it, then called off by Hayward coming in from right field. Another look at the defense here of Colton Wong, playing on the outfield grass, ranging to his right. Off balance throw, stretched by Reynolds, and what a play. What a start for the Birds. Now for the Cardinals, 22-7 here at home. They own the best record at home in Major League Baseball. Colton Wong Matt Carpenter and Johnny Peralta for the Cardinals. Then Reynolds will bat cleanup. Yadier Molina, Hayward, Bridget, Jay, and the pitcher Jaime Garcia batting ninth. Yordano Ventura, now you know it, he's a hard thrower.
Yeah, you're right, and this is a sophomore season. Last year he's 14-10 with a much better ERA, 3.20. They say this year very inconsistent. You know, a lot of teams are just sitting on the fastball. He's an emotional guy, and some people say he doesn't throw his breaking pitches enough, and they're very good.
That pitch up and in to Colton Wong, and there's a look at Matt Holliday. Cardinals don't believe it's as serious as maybe first thought, the leg injury that he suffered in Colorado. 1 ball, 1 strike. And let's hope that's the case. Jim Hayes will have more on that coming up in the second inning.
Sure looked nasty when it did happen in Colorado, but feeling better, but running is still out of the question for quite a while, and Jim will tell us more.
Here's a 1-1. Popped up, out of play. I was talking with Matt Holliday the other day in Colorado. You get a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal, and he was saying, Al, that next year is a guaranteed portion of his contract. Then it's a option. He would like the Cardinals to pick that up, and is looking at playing at least 2 to 3 more years at the age of 35 now. And he said at that point then he would evaluate where he's at in his career. With 4 little kids, he said, I might want to spend some time at home too.
But you know, he keeps himself in great shape, and that's another reason why they think he'll bounce back.
2-2 is bounced to short, taken there by Escobar. 1 away. Wong hustling down the line. Royals defense arguably the best in the game. Gordon in left, a Gold Glover. Kane, great range in center. Rios was hurt first time we went through Kansas City. He's in right field. Moustakas, Escobar, Infante, and Hosmer along the infield, and Salvador Perez is behind the plate. A former third baseman, first round choice out of the University of Nebraska, Alex Gordon. They figured he couldn't play third, moved out to left field, and I think he's the best out there right now.
Well, he's got a whole ton of assists, to tell you that, and the Gold Gloves are starting to add up.
4 of them for Alex Gordon. Here's Carpenter, who's in a little bit of a funk. 2 for his last 18. No extra base hits in that time. And 8 strikeouts. But he has tore up the Royals in his career. He has the highest average all time against the Kansas City Royals at .436 as he falls behind, no balls and 2 strikes.
He got hit on the tricep in L.A., and since that time he's really struggled. But, you know, you can't get him out of the lineup.
Here's the 0-2. A swing and a miss, and the first strikeout for Ventura. Let's take a look at Al Raboski's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, we want to keep the line going. You just want to keep on putting pressure on these guys. As you know, it's really all about looking forward and don't look back. And of course, we also want to score first. Cardinals have a tremendous record when they score first. Both teams have great bullpens. Both teams can reduce the game maybe to 6-7 innings.
Johnny Peralta pops it foul and out of play. He has played a ton of games against the Kansas City Royals, whether it be with Cleveland, Detroit, now St. Louis. 15 career home runs against Kansas City, second most against any opponent. He has 19 against Minnesota. Hit up the middle, and a base hit for Peralta.
And these two teams could have as many as, what, 11 All-Stars?
11.
7 for the Royals, 4 for the Cardinals, including Johnny Peralta, who has the best average, the most home runs, and the most RBIs of any Cardinal player.
Had the chance to visit with Mark Reynolds before the game, and I said, what's been the biggest adjustment of being an everyday player again that you've had to make? Now at first base with Adams out, and he said, my body is sore. He said, you have to get used to playing every single day. And he said that means more time with ice. And he said probably the most important thing for him is getting sleep. He has 2 little kids, and trying to get your rest, your sleep in a long season can be tough.
Well, I'm sure you helped him out with that department.
Good luck at my house. That's up and into Reynolds.
You know, Mark has done a nice job since taking over for Adams, batting .271. We haven't seen the power, not a lot of RBIs, but I think he's become a better hitter as he's trying to make more contact.
1-1. I said, where does power come from? You know, is it the wrist, the forearms, the base, velocity of which you swing the bat, bat speed? He said probably a little bit of everything, but he said I've been asked that my entire career and I cannot give the right answer because I think it's a little bit of all that, and also depends on who you are. That's popped up to the right side and out of play as Hosmer is near the tarp.
Well, Reynolds has had 20 or more home runs for 7 straight seasons. Only 3 home runs now, but he's been playing every day for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
How good has he been with the glove? Even that pick there with Colton Wong.
Well, you know, he was very capable. He had soft hands. He was very capable when he was an everyday third baseman. And coming over to the right side of the diamond, he's done an outstanding job scooping those balls in the dirt.
He said he really worked at it when he was with the Baltimore Orioles. Started seeing more and more time at first base as this pitch just missed, according to Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks. He's fit in very nicely here in St. Louis. Peralta off with the pitch. The 3-2 is chopped to the left side. Moustakas. The stretch by Hosmer. Those aren't boos. They're saying moose or Moustakas here in St. Louis. No score after 1. He goes on the disabled list. With more on that, let's check in with Jim Hayes.
You know, Dan, Lance Lynn has one goal at the start of every season. It's not wins. It's not a better earned run average. It's making every single start. So going on the 15-day DL with that right forearm strain, not easy for Lance. In fact, he told me that it was just a cramp in Colorado and something he's dealt with for years. He said he's always been able to pitch through it. But this time, Lance says, shutting it down briefly might be for the best. He says it'll give the forearm time to calm down and for him to learn a better routine for managing it between starts. Besides, Lance told me, referring to the team doctors, quote, they've got the degrees, so, Dan, I should probably listen to them.
1 ball, 1 strike, and Jim, so that means Tyler Lyons is up, correct?
Yeah, Tyler Lyons will start tomorrow in place of Lance Lynn. John Mozeliak was telling me that since he was up with the big club, Lyons has been pitching very well with Memphis. Over his last 4 starts, he's 3-1 with a 2.36 ERA. And for Lance Lynn, they'll backdate the DL stint, so he'll miss 2 starts. And John Mozeliak saying they really just want to make sure with Lance that they put this tightness, this cramping, this forearm stuff behind it.
2-1 pitch to Hosmer. Jim, where are the Cardinals right now with Matt Holliday?
Well, they feel optimistic because Matt feels optimistic. You know, when he first had the quad injury, he thought it might be a grade 3. It's a grade 2. Lance says he's sore. Matt says he's sore, but he feels like he can see the light at the end of the tunnel. He says the true test will come, Dan, when he starts running, and there's no timetable for that. And John Mozeliak was saying Matt Holliday heals quickly, so they're optimistic too.
Let's hope that Garcia isn't hurt. He says, thumbs up, I'm okay. He's waving off the medical staff. Chris Conroy racing out there from the medical team of the Cardinals. I'm not sure where that hit Garcia, but they get the out off the bat of Eric Hosmer.
I think this is 2 starts in a row that a comebacker has got a little piece of Garcia. And it looked like it might have got on the sole of the shoe or the.
That's what I was thinking.
You know, that's what we're hoping. But you know, he did look like he limped a little bit. But with all the injuries he's had, he doesn't want a ground ball to knock him out. Like maybe just the bottom, around the below the ankle a little bit.
Maybe the right heel.
Says he's okay with the high delivery.
And he says he's all right. And a nice round of applause for Garcia. It brings in Salvador Perez. That's 4 up and 4 down for Jaime.
Good thing too, Dan, is 3 out of 4 outs have come on ground balls.
Such a key for him.
It really is. When he keeps the ball down, it doesn't matter if it's a fastball, the cutter, the slider, the curveball, the changeup, he gets tremendous movement, hard to center the ball, and he gets mostly ground balls or strikeouts.
1 out and a strike to Salvador Perez, who's hitting .286. 9 home runs, and he's driven in 28.
He's the 2 best defensive catchers in baseball right now.
Can't think of anybody better, can you?
Not really.
Breaking ball, and that's pulled foul.
Perez is 0 for 3 against Garcia, but he's hit 406 against the Cardinals.
Nothing into the count. Russell Martin of now Toronto. We had great respect for him when he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Buster Posey is another name that'll be talked about. Perez, in growing up, idolized Yadier Molina. He said he wanted to do everything that Molina did, in particular defensively. Those two have talked on a number of occasions. And Perez has good pop, 9 home runs. You see a little pat on the back there from Perez to Molina. Molina's getting old enough now to where a lot of these young catchers idolized him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We can remember when he first showed up, he was the youngest on the team.
Two. We'll do it again. Perez riding a 5-game hitting streak, hitting .421 during that time. And against the Cardinals in his career, 8 RBIs and has hit over 400.
These 2 pitchers pitch the way they're capable. We'll have another low-scoring game. That doesn't speak well for Jaime Garcia. This is his 5th start. And his first 4, he should be 4-0. But his team was shut out 3 times in those 4 starts.
Royals have only scored 7 runs over the last 5 starts for Ventura.
And so, I mean, it's right there for another pitcher's duel.
Well, this strike zone is tight on both sides, isn't it?
So far, Tony Randazzo been correct.
3-2 the count. Got him. 84-mile-an-hour pitch. Perez strikes out. First strikeout for Jaime Garcia. On the road, traveling, and want to catch your Cardinals? Subscribe to MLB.TV Premium for live or on-demand baseball games on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. All you have to do is visit MLB.TV for details.
Yeah, that was good to see Jaime come back with an off-speed pitch at 3-2 and get the strikeout. Remember his first start of the year, he walked 5. I remember the first 3 were all leadoff walks, but then he got a double play ball over the next hitter. But he walked 5 in that first start and has not walked a batter since then.
He was matched up with Jacob deGrom in that game.
And he was on.
Here's Alex Gordon, who's hitting .257. And a ground ball. Wong again ranging to his right. Jump throw and no play with the speed of Gordon. And the first hit of the night for the Kansas City Royals.
Really wasn't hit well, just well placed. Colton Wong did everything he could to help out, but as you said, Gordon has speed and beat it out. Rios got off to a real good start. He was hitting .321, a home run, and it was about just a handful of games. And then he broke his bone in his left hand, went on the disabled list, and it's been kind of a rough start since that time. He's pretty good hitter, free agent replacement for Aoki.
Big guy, 6'5", 210 pounds, from Puerto Rico is Alex Rios. And he's played with Toronto, the White Sox, a couple of years in Texas, and now with Kansas City. He signed as a free agent back in December. And Rios on the first pitch pops it up. Colton Wong. He's got it. The Royals strand a runner. Cardinals have Molina. Hayward Grichuk coming up. No score. Midway through 2. This number at On the Run. When the Cardinals score 6, any size drink is just 50 cents the next day. Coffee, fountain, or frozen drinks. When they score, you pour at your nearest On the Run. You earned it. Al just gave me a big fist bump. You got to get into these promos, Al. You got to sell them, baby.
I was ready to buy.
It's worth repeating what Al said earlier. The Cardinals have failed to score in 3 of the 4 starts that Garcia has pitched in this year, this being start number 5. And Jaime has been outstanding in his return to the rotation. 1 ball, 1 strike on Yadier Molina. Molina with a pop-up to the right side. Hosmer wants it. 1 down. I guess the question would be right now, if you're a fan of the Cardinals, how much can this team sustain in terms of all the injuries that they've had?
Well, it's been remarkable up to this time. You know, they have been able to win with the absence of Wainwright, Walden. So you lose your 8th inning man, your closer, or excuse me, your ace.
Pseudo closer.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have a couple of saves.
Oh yeah.
At this point in time.
Then you lose your number 4 hitter, Adams, and now Holiday, and another starter in Lance Lynn. So it's quite remarkable the way they are playing. It's the next man up there. They feel that they have the farm system and they have the depth on their roster that they can play and still be competitive with all these injuries. But this time I think they're really going to be tested.
Here's a 1-1. The Royals did this in the series in Kansas City, mostly with Jason Hayward. But if they got a strike on Hayward, then they take the third baseman Moustakas after 1 strike and move him towards the second base side. And it's wide open on the left side as Escobar is the only one there. That's the shortstop, and it's 2-2 on Jason Hayward.
This is Hayward's first at bat against Ventura. And there you can see, if you want a base hit, just drop one down the third base line.
I always find it interesting too how you're pitched once the shift is there. You know, if you throw a pitch to Hayward on the outside portion of the plate, just go right with it with a base hit to left.
Well, and here's what you're looking at too. They expect him to pull the ball in the infield and then hit the ball. Pull the ball in the infield, yeah, and then hit to the opposite field in the outfield and right down the middle of the plate, center. That's how sometimes you get out great hitters. You throw it right down the middle of the plate and let them confuse themselves when they want to inside out the ball, want to jerk the ball, what they want to do. That's how you do Tony Gwynn. But you knew he was going to get a hit.
Last 8 games for Randal Grichuk. He's 4 for 25 with 12 strikeouts. John Mozeliak, the Cardinals general manager, saying with Holiday out, Grichuk would get the primary starts in left field, Jay in center, Hayward in right, Borges off the bench.
Well, for those of us that have been hollering to see more of Randal Grichuk, we understand the strikeouts are going to come. But the power potential there, and remember, he's a very good defensive outfielder. And they'll try and get ahead of him, but then you'll see a steady diet of off-speed pitches. Peter Borges still will get plenty of playing time. You got 4 outfielders for 3 spots, and they'll kind of rotate around. But I think the bulk of the time is going to be with Grichuk and Hayward.
Grichuk, left side, knocked down by Moustakas, and he's safe at first. A base hit for Randal Grichuk, and nearly an amazing play by Moustakas at third.
Well, Moustakas can play defense. You know, when he came back up last year, he hit 5 big home runs. He was a star in the postseason, and he made many of these plays right there. I think the Cardinals were fortunate that this one didn't stick in his glove. But that gives you an idea. You just tell the speed coming off the bat of Grichuk.
Just jumps off his bat.
And he's only 23 years of age, too, so, you know, he needs playing time.
24 in August. Here's John Jay. This combination of Ventura and Perez, you do not see many steals against them. Joey Gallo stole the second base of the year against Ventura on Saturday. That's kept in front by Perez. It was just the second time that a runner has been successful on the base pass in 262 2/3 innings. That is an incredible number.
And you can see the technique he uses, just excellent footwork, blocking that ball, getting over there, trying to use the glove just to block the hole between his legs.
Jay hits it down the right field line, fair, into the corner. Bridget, he can fly, racing to third. Oquendo will wave him in. Jay on his way to third, and in there, 1-0 St. Louis as Jay comes through.
That's good to see John Jay swing the bat and hit a ball with authority. Remember in Colorado he hit a home run, but since coming back from the wrist surgery and the disabled list, he really wasn't, he was kind of feeling for it. But Grichuk, as you mentioned, he can really run. There's no question in mind, he sees that one down the corner, that he's going to come around and score.
John Jay actually hesitated, nearly stopped going around second base, and once he saw the throw not hit the cut, he goes to third.
Well, and I think if we saw it again, the throw was just kind of goosed in because he kind of felt like he got trapped. He went to the wrong base. He went.
Garcia with a base hit, and it's 2-0 Cardinals. Jaime with his first hit of 2015 to make it 2-0 St. Louis.
And Dan, you know that we've seen Jaime Garcia, and we know he's a pretty good hitter. Really hasn't translated with his average much, but he'll make good solid contact, and he made a good play right there, and he gets an RBI, the 12th RBI of his career. Ball just running away, just makes contact, throws the bat at it, and the guys love it. The one game the Cardinals scored runs for Jaime, they were shut out 3 times in a 4 start. The other one they got 6 runs.
Long lines out to second as Infante makes a good play. Some excitement here at the ballpark in the bottom of the second for the St. Louis Cardinals. RBIs for Jay and Garcia. Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. To look at Cardinals Nation Restaurant over in Ballpark Village. We're on the road. They've got the brunches every Sunday. Great place to take in a dinner before or after the game. Top of the third. 2-0 Cardinals. John Jay with an RBI. Then Garcia followed up with his first hit of the year and an RBI. That's his first hit since we saw Kansas City back in 2014. First RBI since 2012. And all that done with 2 outs. Omar Infante, Yordano Ventura, and Alcides Escobar. In this particular case of interleague play, especially in this series against the Cardinals, the Royals are at a huge disadvantage. Kendrys Morales, who has a .419 career average, who's been serving as the DH for Kansas City this year, .419 against St. Louis, leads their club in home runs and RBIs, but tonight he sits.
DH, he sits here. Big disadvantage to the American League clubs playing in the National League City.
Oh, 2.
Fonte is trying to play through a bone spur in his right elbow. It causes him pain on occasion when he throws. Probably in the off season get that taken care of, but try and play through it. So far, so good.
And the 0-2 pitch. It's a good example, that previous pitch. The movement of Jaime Garcia, especially against right-handed hitters on the balls that tail away. Tremendous movement.
I think Jaime's one of those left-handers that has more success facing right-handed batters than lefties.
On the inside corner, and strikeout number 2 tonight for Garcia.
A lot of it is because of that movement. A little dip and dive right at the very end, but if it does slide across in on or away from a right-handed batter, that's the pitch. Sometimes it gets taken away from him against a lefty because it would hit the left-hander. So you started in a different spot.
Ventura looks at a strike.
Carlos Martinez of the Cardinals and Ventura, very close friends. Both of them were close friends of Oscar Taveras, and both of them are similar type pitchers. I think Carlos Martinez has become a little more mature than Ventura with all the trouble that he got himself into this year, and confrontations and suspensions.
He was just the 4th Royals rookie a year ago to make 30 or more starts. Steve Busby, Dennis Leonard, Rich Gale. That was all back in the 70s, so it'd been a long time since a rookie made this kind of impression on the Kansas City Royals.
Well, 3 of those guys were teammates of mine.
That swung on and missed as Molina applies the tag, and strikeout number 3. Fox Sports Midwest and the Cardinals bring you Mizzou night at the ballpark July 17th. Cardinals battle the Mets. Buy your Mizzou themed tickets at cardinals.com/theme. Get a limited edition Cardinals hat. Get your tickets, wear your black and gold. We'll see you at Mizzou night July 17th. That's something that maybe Cardinal fans and Royals fans can agree upon. They cheer for Mizzou. Top of the lineup, Alcides Escobar showing bunt, looks at a strike.
And this may be the toughest ticket in the state of Missouri this weekend. It has pretty much been sold out for a couple months. I'm glad to see the Royals have increased their attendance by quite a bit this year, the most in the majors.
The television rankings for Fox Sports Midwest are 1 and 2. The Royals have the best television ratings in baseball. The Cardinals number 2. The Cardinals were number 1 all last year. Breaking ball lifted into center as Jay goes back into right center and puts it away. Jaime Garcia has allowed just 1 hit. We're midway through 3. and Jaime Garcia. They lead it 2-0. Matt Carpenter is the BJC Healthcare difference maker. Mentioned the numbers that he's had against Kansas City. The best of anybody with 50 or more at bats. BJC Healthcare difference maker is Matt Carpenter. Struck out his first time. Yordano Ventura back to work here in the home half of the third. He has struck out 2. He's allowed 4 base hits, 2 runs, has not walked a man.
Mentioned how well he's hit against Kansas City. He's hit very well in interleague play, 360 plus.
1 ball, 1 strike. It's Tuesday, the rare 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts for Matt Carpenter. We wondered if he would be in the lineup the next day, and then he delivered with 2 key hits.
Yeah, got his 24th multi-hit game on Wednesday.
Ventura, a big part of that postseason run of Kansas City last year. 4 postseason starts, 5 overall appearances. 2-1 lifted down the left field line and foul.
He won Game 6, didn't he, in the World Series, throwing 7 shutout innings against the Giants.
First rookie for the Royals to win a fall classic game. And in that World Series, he only allowed 2 runs in 12 1/3. Two balls, 2 strikes on Matt Carpenter. Carpenter with a fly ball out to center. Kane back and makes the catch in front of the track for out number 1. I think the story of Lorenzo Cain is amazing. To be at this level, to be as good as he is defensively at center, just an all-around good player. He did not start playing the game of baseball until high school. He was cut in basketball. His mom said, well, you're not going to sit around the house. You better figure out something to do.
But you could tell he's an athlete.
But to think about picking up the game of baseball in high school and then to be in the major leagues, that's impressive.
It's very impressive. But if you're an athlete, you can make adjustments. And then to play a premier position like center, but that's because of his speed.
1 ball, 1 strike on Peralta. He singled to center field. First time up. Into center field again, and there's Kane. 2 down. In steps Mark Reynolds. Grounded out to third, first time up. Talking with Mark about the shifts, he felt it's a little bit tougher for a left-handed hitter. And he said the reason why is that if they put a shift on a right-hander, you still can at times beat out a hit that's hit to the left side. He said more times than not, you hit one slowly to the right side, you're a left-handed hitter, they're going to get you just because of the proximity of where that fielder is at. And it makes sense. And he said as a hitter, when they do it to him, doesn't even worry about it.
But we have seen him go to right field more times. Particularly, he'll be aggressive until he gets 2 strikes, and then he's trying to put the ball in play. And I don't think that was anything he ever did before. It's kind of all or nothing. How fortunate the Cardinals to have signed him. And he took less money to come here and knew that he wasn't going to play every day. It's his desire to be on a winning team, and so he chose the Cardinals. But a good insurance policy really is paying dividends now.
Three balls, 1 strike on Mark Reynolds. Outfield is deep, and Reynolds is due. He draws a walk. First walk issued by Ventura. Last time out for Ventura, mentioned it was a very short outing for him. He needed 78 pitches to get through his day, which was 3 innings. That was it against Texas. That was a season low 3 innings for him.
He's been very inconsistent this year. Last year his numbers were, eye-popping. Got a 5-year contract with a couple option years added to it, based on what he did last year, his rookie year.
Perez out to visit. Well, Al, you talked about the emotions of this young right-hander. Earlier this year, ran into trouble. This was against the Angels, as he had words for Mike Trout. And then this is the one that got nasty. That's with the Oakland A's and Brett Laurie. That ball against the White Sox, and that was Eaton with a ground ball. Ventura let the emotions get the best of him. Bench is cleared. But the one with Oakland was really bad because both teams came out, and then all of a sudden you started seeing everybody thrown at. And there is no doubt, because the players have talked about it, there will be a carryover effect to their next series.
And, and then that ends up hurting your ball club.
Here's a 1-1.
7-game suspension, but had been involved with all those different incidents, and eventually you're only hurting your ball club when you do that.
2-1 is popped up and behind home plate.
And I can hear Whitey right now saying, well, why didn't you learn that when you pitched for me?
I didn't want to say it, but I will. This is coming from the Mad Hungarian. You probably were ready to excite everybody you faced. Just admit it. Come on.
I will in a second.
Here's a 2-2. And Molina hits a fly ball out to right field. Rios makes the catch. I'll calm down Al in between innings. The Mad Hungarian. St. Louis, Kia in the driver's seat since 2006 when the Cardinals opened up this ballpark. They have the highest winning percentage at home. Yankees, Cardinals, Detroit Angels, and that's the highest winning percentage in the National League. The St. Louis Cardinals, the Yankees overall.
And this season the Cardinals have the best record at home in baseball, 22-7.
Moustakas, Kane, and Hosmer. 1 hit allowed by Garcia. Al talked earlier about the first start of the year for Jaime. He walked 5 in that game. Well, since May 22nd, Garcia has not walked a man. 23 innings. David Hale, who we saw of the Rockies, 19 2/3. Currently of innings pitched without a walk. Moustakas was robbed by second baseman Colton Wong his first time up.
And because of those no walks, he did go 7 innings in that first start, which was kind of amazing with 5 walks. He went 6 innings in his next start, 7 in the next 2. So he's been going deep into ball games.
1-1, and now this time Wong has to charge. Tough play, and throws it away and into the dugout in an error on Colton Wong. First time it paid off with the great play by playing deep on the outfield grass. This time had to race in, and it cost the Cardinals. So an error on Colton Wong, and a runner at second base with nobody out. Lorenzo Cain will be the hitter.
It's his 8th error of the year, but you can see how tough it is. He has to run all the way in at full speed, trying to get the ball, trying to throw on the run, and throws it wide of Reynolds.
It is an infield hit, and then the error on Wong. First runner in scoring position for Kansas City here tonight. Ground ball hit to the right side. Wong makes the play. Moustakas advancing from second to third. And it brings in Eric Hosmer, who has 36 driven in this year. Hosmer lined a ball off the foot of Garcia. That was in the second inning. The medical team came out and checked on him. Threw one pitch just to make sure he was all right. Waved off the medical team, and there's been no ill effect since, as that goes up and in on Hosmer.
Hosmer 1 for 6. See what he's done with runners in scoring position or over at third.
Real issue for Kansas City lately has been scoring runs. If you go back to May 13th, they are averaging just over 3 runs per game for Ned Yost's club. That's the lowest average in the American League. The first 32 games, nearly 5 a game, and that was the best in the American League. Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Two and two. I'm not sure if just getting work in out in the bullpen as you get a look at the Chevy Fox tracks. I wouldn't think that's the case, but Joe Blanton is up and throwing right now in the pen for Kansas City.
But it kind of does make you think that there could be something possibly wrong. You'll see. That was a hanging breaking ball that Garcia got away with.
Jammed him, popped up. Wong wants it, makes the catch. Moustakas still at third. Big out.
And we haven't really discussed this, but don't you see a great deal more maturity out of Jaime Garcia? Almost get things that would have bothered him before. Now he doesn't let anything bother him. He almost has a new appreciation for the game of baseball with so many injuries and
That's what he told me. He said,
yeah.
I don't take it for granted anymore. We had the chance to visit before his first start at Citi Field, and he must have said it 20 times. I'm
so appreciative and thankful just to be able to pitch again.
And you can just see just the way he handles himself, that little situations that would have gotten under his skin, he just goes right through it.
Inside to Salvador Perez. I think what you're alluding to is an error committed behind him, and now that runner's still on the base paths and dealing with 2 outs.
Yeah, that's part of it, but it just seems like an umpire strike zone or a call that goes against him, it might have gotten under his skin. Now he doesn't let it faze him a bit.
Here's a 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Alex Gordon on deck.
And I think he's become a better pitcher just sitting there observing. I know he's talked about how much Adam Wainwright has helped him this year, and just how coping with situations.
Here's a 2-0. 2-1.
Got more confidence that he can execute pitches and that his arm and shoulder is going to stay healthy. Tell these little balls back off his leg or something not going to faze him with all the injuries and surgeries he's had.
Cardinals did their damage with 2 outs, and now the Royals trying to do theirs with 2 outs. Ground ball hit to third, playing on the line. Carpenter, long throw, and he gets out of the jam. Garcia with a runner at third and 1 out. He got Hosmer, jammed him just enough with a pop-up. And now Perez, the ground out. 2-0. Cardinals came up with 2 runs with 2 outs back in the second, and that was off of Yordano Ventura. And he is out of this game after 3 innings. Joe Blanton is in his 7th appearance. He's had 12 1/3 innings pitched this season, all out of the pen. Last game he appeared in was Saturday. That was the game that Ventura only lasted 3 innings against Texas. His ERA 5.90 in his relief appearances. So a short outing for Ventura, and I'm sure a cause of concern if you're a Royals fan. Look at Ned Yost as Ventura, a total of 6 innings combined his last 2 starts. Joe Blanton, we've seen him before. Philadelphia Phillies. He's been with the A's, the Phillies, the Dodgers, the Angels, and now the Kansas City Royals. He was a World Series champion back in 2008 for the Phils.
I remember a couple times he had started some against the Cardinals and really shut them down. He started in the minor leagues this year Think about Young and Blanton both on the Omaha roster and pitching now in the big leagues.
Hayward with a ground ball, and that's against the shift. Moustakas makes the play. Prairie Farms brings you a sweet season of winning contests. Take a photo at the new Lulu the Cow display. Lulu the Cow display at any Ice Cream Sundays event or while visiting Busch Stadium to win Cardinals tickets or party suite. Numbers on Ventura tonight: 3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, walked 1, struck out 2, 52 pitches. That's it. 78 pitches on Saturday. As Grichuk pops it foul and out of play. Infield hit for Randall Grichuk back in the 2nd inning. And then it was a triple by Jay, single by Garcia, and the Cardinals had a 2-run lead. And that's where we stand right now.
Blanton did not pitch in the major leagues last year.
Oh, 2 pitch. Hit sharply again to Moustakas. Almost the identical play that he had off of the bat of Grichuk in the 2nd inning. This one he makes.
He almost waited a little too long as Grichuk was running hard down the line. But as you said, the last one maybe it was a step more to his left. This one he catches. And you can see how close he is. Grichuk hustling. That was one thing I noticed even in Colorado when those first 2 games they lost, particularly the one game they got blown out in, that the guys were all hustling down the line. It was late in that game and they were still hustling.
There's John Jay with a triple down the right field line as he picked up his 8th RBI. Hitting .231 this year. Spent some time on the DL. Cincinnati has already defeated Chicago earlier today by the final of 5-4. So a win tonight for the Cardinals. They'd be 7 in front of Chicago. Pittsburgh playing the Phillies tonight. They're in the top of the 3rd, no score. Pittsburgh 6.5 games out. Here's a 1-2. Jammed him. Slowly hit to the right side. And making the play, Omar Infante. And I never miss your hit in the 7th inning up on the big board here at the ballpark. I never miss it, Al, when you're up there.
Yeah.
Stop what I'm doing. Whoa, hold on. Got to check you out. What's going on, Al?
I'm still thinking about starting a fight.
Shocking. A strike to Alex Gordon.
You know, I got fined a lot in the National League, but never got thrown out of a game. In the American League, I never got fined and got thrown out of 2 games.
What was the difference?
League presidents.
You sure one incident wasn't more egregious than another?
I got fined one time and filed a protest on it. Got fined for throwing at a batter.
Out the middle, but playing there is Peralta for the out. All-Star game balloting, and look at this. Gordon, Escobar, Moustakas, Perez, Hosmer, and Kane, along with the DH, just for good measure, from Kansas City. Altuve and Trout, second baseman and outfielder and center fielder Mike Trout. Those are the only 2 outside of Kansas City that would be starters for the American League All-Star team.
And the Cardinals will be well represented with 4. But if you want to see 5, get Colton Wong in there along with others. But Colton's in second to D. Gordon.
Rios on a 1-0 pitch to the aforementioned Colton Wong, who puts it away. So here it is, a look at the National League All-Star team right now. If it was done with the voting for the fans, Holiday, Harper, Stanton, can't argue with that trio. Carpenter, Peralta, Gordon, and Goldschmidt, and Molina behind the plate. So this is what you would have at the All-Star game. In Cincinnati, it would be a Missouri flavor.
I wonder if the East, the right and the left coast would boycott it.
2 outs, and here's Omar Infante. Was called out on strikes back in the 3rd and looks at a strike.
All right, so I got fined for throwing at a hitter. Then I got fined additionally for the batter charging the mound for quote-unquote fighting. Chuck Feeney, the league president's one who finds you, and also is the judge and jury. And with the court stenographer and the umpire there and the hearing that they had, I said, is there any possible way that that ball could have gotten away? And the umpire said, absolutely not. You deliberately threw at it. And then I said, what am I supposed to do, you know, when the guy charges him out? And Chuck Feeney said, well, you retreat behind second base and, you know, let the peacemakers do it.
The pick by Reynolds, 8-pitch inning for Jaime Garcia.
Safari. Jim Hayes with an update on the injuries.
Yeah, a couple injury updates courtesy of the GM, John Mozeliak. Al, Jordan Walden trying to come back from a bicep issue. Mozeliak says Walden is making slow progress. He says Walden is now playing catch, but hasn't thrown off a mound. Mo says no timetable yet, but, quote, I think he's inching closer to getting back to where he can probably rejoin the team at some point.
Garcia into center field, and it's caught. As Kane had a couple of steps in front of the wall, and Jaime gave it a ride. Go ahead, Jimmy.
The other update is on Marco Gonzalez. Dan, as you know, he's dealing with a shoulder issue. Not a lot from Mo, but he did say that Marco is rehabbing at the Cards spring training facility in Florida. Mozeliak says Marco could be pitching in a minor league game somewhere by the end of the month. But, Dan, there's no timetable as to when Marco may be major league ready. So there's your updates.
All right, thanks, Jim. Here is Colton Wong, looks at a strike, and Wong is grounded out to short and also lined out to second. The health of Marco Gonzalez could be pivotal as we approach the trade deadline and the rest of this season.
Well, one of the reasons why, Dan, is because, you know, you've got Michael Wacha, who missed a lot of time last year. You know, you got to monitor his innings at some point this year so he could pitch in postseason. The same thing with Garcia. You know, remember, he only made about 7 starts last year, so you can't rush him up to 200 innings. Carlos Martinez was in the bullpen last year. He's like 100 innings. You can't get his inning total up too high. So you were going to need, whether it's a Tyler Lyons who's going to start tomorrow in place of Lance Lynn, or if it's some of these other guys who are going to have to make some starts to spare some starts and innings for some of the guys in the Cardinal rotation.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Colton Wong. The key word you said is monitor. Monitor the innings. And the Cardinals did not put a hard cap on those innings. For instance, you looked the other day and Michael Wacha was cruising in his game. You know, it's about high stress innings that you talk about. Instead of saying, well, if he gets to 175, we shut him down. Well, it's not all 175 are created equal, if you know what I mean.
And I think the Cardinals don't want to really do something like what the Nationals, and they thought that was the best thing to do with Strasburg that 1 year, but possibly cost them a World Series by shutting him down in his rookie year.
We talked about it at the time. It just did not make sense. Or if you're going to do that, backload him towards the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you could have just, you know, just put him on the disabled list or send him down for a while and just kind of really have him throw on the side, but save those innings for September, the pennant race, and postseason.
Let's see if the Cardinals want to do something here with Carpenter, good contact man at the plate for the most part. Got good speed with Colton Wong. There have been 231 attempts on Salvador Perez in terms of stolen bases, and he's at 30% for his career. This year, 33%.
And Dan, also, it's a way for a manager to try to get something going for a struggling hitter. And the only factor, and this is so unusual for Carpenter, is the fact that he's striking out so much.
Yeah.
Good contact hitter, like you say, all the time, so it'd be a way to try and generate something for him.
There goes Wong, and there was the hit and run. Colton had a very good jump.
A little different with Ventura on the mound versus Blanton.
Second inning of work for Joe Blanton. If you've just joined us, Ventura lasted 3 innings. We have not gotten a word if there was an injury as to why he's out, but he is out of this game. Second consecutive game in which he's gone 3. Wong is leaning towards second, not running, and the pitch taken for a ball. I'm sure that has to be of concern for Ned Yost, who, by the way, passed Dick Hauser on the all-time wins list in Kansas City history. And he's 3 away from Whitey Herzog. 3 wins shy of 410. Whitey, the all-time winningest manager in Kansas City Royals history.
Whitey did it over a smaller time frame, but Whitey had those great teams, the Royals in the 70s.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Strikeouts are up, as you mentioned, Al, for Carpenter. The power has been there, though. Much better this season. Matched already his total from a year ago with 8 home runs. And with a strikeout back in the first, he now has 50 this year. And that's the most on the club, which is quite surprising.
He's more than halfway to his RBI title of a year ago, or total. But he's moved down in the order to the 2 spot.
I asked him about that, and he said the biggest difference I see is that I'm not hitting behind the pitcher. He said no disrespect to the pitcher, but you do get a lot more opportunities with a Colt Long in front of you.
Sure. And that was part of the reason, because I think he can hit in any spot in the order, but he also has the ability to drive in runs.
Here's a 2-2. Hits it the other way and foul. In terms of the exhaustion that he dealt with, he said if he tries to fight his way out of the lineup with Mike Matheny, that discussion now goes nowhere. If Mike says you're out, there's no discussion. They're really trying to monitor his work.
And I think we were both a little surprised that he made the start on Wednesday, but with Holiday and Adams out of there, you had to keep him in there, and it paid off.
The 2-2 pitch to Carpenter. First strikeout for Blanton. Join us for Academy Sports and Outdoors Autograph Nights. The second of 6 autograph nights is Saturday, June 13th. So tomorrow, 2 current Cardinals will sign autographs in the Ford Plaza for fans 15 and under. 2 former Cardinals will sign for fans of all ages. For details, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
Peralta's had the most at bats against Blanton, and he's hit him well. 375, 9 for 24, a couple doubles, a couple home runs.
A good cut there. Johnny is 1 for 2. A single to center field, flied out to center, and playing in career game number 1600 here tonight for Johnny Peralta.
Peralta has to be one of the best signings of all of baseball since 2014.
And Peralta pops it foul. And talking with some of the members of the Kansas City Royals, he said they've not been shocked, but really surprised with the numbers that Peralta has put up. They did not see him at the tail end of his time in Detroit playing at this level.
Well, he's hit the most home runs, 31, since last year of any National League shortstop. Set a record last year, franchise, with 21.
And the 0-2 pitch. At 1-2.
For a Cardinal shortstop record, home runs by a shortstop.
When you look at his plate coverage, I mean, even with 2 strikes for the most part, he puts the ball in play. He'll have his fair share of strikeouts, but able to go the other way. And then, man, when he guesses, you better watch out. He has guessed right, it seems like, a lot this year. Peralta, base hit. Good example there. The plate coverage on a pitch outside. He pulled it, but got away with it.
Yeah, and I think, too, what may be surprising to some is how well he's played defensively. Here's a breaking ball, and you see he goes down and gets it, kind of hooks it, and pulls it through the left side.
Here's Mark Reynolds, who is grounded out to third and also walked. Cardinals have received a pair of walks. One was from Ventura, one from Blanton this inning. That's Colton Wong. He stands at second base. Peralta, the runner, at first with 2 outs.
10 years service for Blanton at the big league level, 34 now.
Big gap in right center. Lorenzo Cain is playing as deep as you can in center field here at this ballpark. He's in left center, and a huge gap in right center. He puts it in right center. Peralta could score.
Both these pitching staffs are very stingy in allowing home runs, but both of them play in big ballparks. This is a very fair park here in Kansas City, one of the toughest parks to hit a home run.
Here's a 1-1 inside.
Importance of scoring early in this game with both bullpens being pretty much shut down. 1 and 2 in all of baseball.
Alex Rodriguez 6 away from 3,000 hits, which may be greeted with a collective yawn.
Albert hit another home run today to pass Mickey Mantle on the all-time home run list.
3-1 pitch, a strike to Reynolds.
Too much of the plate right there, but 3-1, it's not the pitch you're looking for.
(3-2) and a strikeout of Reynolds. Blanton tied him up. 2 strikeouts tonight, 2 in the inning. We played 5, and the Cardinals on top 2-0. Motion. For every win the Cardinals get against the Royals and Twins 5-game homestand, take $4 off select tickets. For more details, just visit cardinals.com/win. Cardinals.com/win. What's on tap? Guthrie and Lions tomorrow in game number 2 in the Budweiser What's on Tap as we come your way at 2:30.
Lions' last 4 games down at Memphis was 3-1 with a 2.36 ERA. So hopefully this will be the time he pitches well and sticks up here.
Here's Joe Blanton, the pitcher, then the top of the lineup for Kansas City. During this promotion, the Cardinals win, you save. Cardinals have gone 25-9 all time. 25-9 all time when they've done this. So you're looking at $20 off potentially, which means free tickets in select areas. And those games will be against the White Sox and the Padres. Cardinals.com/win to find out more. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Blanton. Blanton in relief of Ventura. His night was cut short. Still waiting word if it's injury. We don't know yet. Blanton, by the way, hit a home run while pitching for the Phillies in the 2008 World Series. Only pitcher in the history of the game to do that, having never hit a single or extra base hit in his career.
Are you a little surprised that they're not pinch hitting?
Absolutely. Down by 2.
Down by 2 with a great bullpen. Got other good arms down there.
1 ball and 2 strikes. On the flip side of that, they go to their bullpen so much that maybe Ned Yost is saying, well, I'm trying to save some arms too.
Both teams had an off day yesterday.
They carry 8, by the way, in their pen. Off the glove of Garcia. Stays with it. Settles. Makes the play. Relive the excitement of the 1982 season. 25,000 fans ages 16 and older received their very own wearable 1982 World Series Championship replica ring. Stay in your seat after the game. Fireworks presented by Cooper's Tires. And that's coming up on July 3rd. Cooper Tire Fireworks Night, as well as the wearable 1982 World Series Championship replica ring. Cardinals.com/promotions. Well pitched on both sides for the most part here tonight. Garcia's allowed just 2 hits. A big breaking ball drops in for his strike.
I think we all expected this to be a pretty good pitcher's duel. Disappointed maybe that Ventura, had to come out early, and we just hope the best for him that it's not something physical.
7 in a row set down by Jaime Garcia. And with this throw, make it 8. Mike Moustakas, 1 for 2 tonight with an infield hit. Robbed by Colton Wong in the first inning. Wong playing on the outfield grass as he is right now, a good 10 to 15 feet on that grass. And then he singled in the 4th on an infield hit, then a throwing error by Colton Wong. But we saw some of the best pitching of the night from Garcia following that error. 2 outs, nobody on.
Breaking ball way out in front. Good pitch right there. Got his set up away, and that's what he can do. I mean, he can really make you look bad. Swing and misses. And if you do hit the ball, you just can't center it, so you get a ground ball. Both hits tonight for the Royals have been infield singles. One thing we've seen, Dan, is when Garcia is healthy, and every year it's been a battle for him to stay healthy, he wins. And particularly when he's pitching here at Busch Stadium, very good win-loss record.
Here's an 0-2 pitch to Moustakas. Outfield is fairly shallow for this left-handed batter. Ground ball, Peralta to his left, slides for it. And the second infield hit for Moustakas, and the 3rd overall for Kansas City.
Set up away, and you see really has him off his front foot, reaching for it, and because of the shift, only Peralta could get to it on the first base side a second, but couldn't make the throw. Give 2-out singles, you're in pretty good shape. Jaime, one thing he does not allow many home runs.
Lorenzo Cain is 0 for 2. Pulls it foul. He is flied out to right. And with nobody out and a runner at second base in the 4th inning, he grounded to second. And that's what I mean when Garcia was probably at his best. You had the leadoff single, which then put Moustakas at second base, nobody out. And you had 3, 4, and 5 coming up, and no one scores.
That's the only time he had to pitch with a little bit of pressure tonight, and he handled that one extremely well.
1 ball, 1 strike.
You really couldn't appreciate seeing, the quality of a Bob Gibson or Jim Palmer, a Seaver in particular, until they got into jam. And then all of a sudden the fastball had another foot or two of life. The breaking ball was that much sharper. Other times they were pitching to contact.
Chopped off the plate. Tough play here for Wong. Avoid the runner. He can't, and everybody's safe.
That's when you kind of run into the runner. It's almost impossible to make that play. So if you run into the runner has to give you an opportunity to field it, and you become a good actor. But another example of how you just can't hit the ball hard off of Jaime. He had no chance because Moustakas got it in front of him before he was near the plate.
So 4 hits tonight for Kansas City. All 4 have been infield hits. It brings in Hosmer, who hit the ball sharply off Garcia back in the 2nd. And with 1 out, runner at 3rd, he was jammed on a pitch up and in. Such a tough play, that one for Wong, because the only way it looked like he would make it too is with a bare hand. Extremely difficult.
It was one of those that you could just, from our vantage point, you could just say, maybe just put it in your pocket even if you do field it.
A strike to Hosmer.
One of those plays where you try and do too much and you end up making a second error. Now let's see Jaime how he goes ahead and attacks this hitter. Hosmer's now 1 for 7. Best thing he did, get ahead in the count.
On 1 pitch, hit out of play. Now 0-2.
Jaime has elevated, got some few balls up, particularly a slider that can get him in a little bit of trouble, but they haven't been able to do it. Here's the breaking ball, the curve ball, and you see another one that's up in the zone, but it's hard to center it.
What's interesting, Hosmer, when it's an 0-1 count, 448 average, 0-2, 333, so be careful.
Hopefully you don't throw another strike for a couple pitches.
Got him! Throws his bat, slams down the helmet. Royals strand 2, and Garcia is sharp here tonight. 4 strikeouts for Jaime Garcia. been well pitched by Jaime Garcia. Defense on both sides. This is Moustakas. First inning. Outstanding play from Colton Long to take a hit away. As a matter of fact, the Royals have 4 hits all on the infield. And then Moustakas here, returning the favor. The ball hit off the bat of Randal Grichuk. Molina pops it up to the right side. Hosmer is over and reaches in. Did he get it? And he did. What a catch, Hosmer.
Hosmer's a Gold Glove winner, and we're going to show you a graphic that might, this play right here might help explain it.
T-Mobile, game changer, and the defense in particular of the Kansas City Royals and the Cardinals. But look at the difference here. Most defensive runs saved this season. The Royals with 40, Cardinals with 16. And so what that is, to measure the number of runs a player saved or cost their team relative to an average player. And that's a couple of hops in the gap in right center. Hayward will stop at second base with a 1-out double.
Earlier in the ballgame, you were talking about the defense with Hayward at the plate. In the outfield, they swing him around to hit the left field. There was a big gap on right center, and Hayward was listening to you and wanted to plug that gap.
Listening to me, huh?
Yeah, he was. Split the defense. And he had a double. I know I was thinking about a triple there for a minute, but he's in scoring position right now.
Here's Randal Grichuk. There's an infield hit. Run scored back in a 2-run second. Then we showed you that play by Moustakas moments ago to his left. Both balls he's hit have been rockets at Mike Moustakas. Joe Blanton in relief of Ventura. He lasted 3 innings. Blanton pitching into his 3rd inning. The 1-0.
So what Joe Blanton can do here, he got Grichuk out with the grounder to third. Maybe it came up in the 4th inning.
Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. We talked about it earlier, just how hard the ball comes off the bat of Randal Grichuk. The second at bat, which wound up being an out, 102.7 miles an hour. And the chance to meet his parents. Well, on the road in Los Angeles, they were headed to Hawaii. Decided to make a stop off and say hello to Randal. From Texas.
Met John Jay's mom and dad in Colorado.
Mom a teacher.
Dad was talking to me about a mutual friend, John Dorino. You know Johnny, out in California.
Here's a 3-1 pitch to Randal Grichuk. If you're wondering, the longest outing this season for Joe Blanton was 4 innings against the Yankees back on May 16th. And because of that, Franklin Morales, their lone lefty in the pen, begins to throw. 3-2 the count. The packed house here at Busch Stadium. There goes Hayward. Grichuk, ground ball hit to short. Escobar makes the play.
Got him over to third base.
But if he's not running, he's still at second base,
right,
more than likely.
You know, it'd be tough with Salvador Perez. Get a ball past him with his good technique, but more ways to score from third base than second base.
Think about that wild pitch, pass ball. Variety of ways to score. Now with Hayward at third base, and here's Colton Wong, who is grounded out to short, and he also lined out to second base and walked, and they'll intentionally pass him to get to Jaime Garcia. So John Jay will be walked here. Then you'll have Garcia and Wong.
John Jay 0 for 1 against Blanton tonight, but he was 4 for 8. So they don't want to take any chances and bring up a hard hitting Jaime Garcia.
You know, the numbers for Garcia overall as a hitter aren't that great, and I mean for a pitcher. But yet when we watch him swing the bat, he handles the bat just fine.
Well, I've said that, you know, for several years. And here Ned Yost will come out, bring in his lone left-hander, I assume.
With the pitcher batting, is Ned Yost going to make a change?
Well, I mean, why would you have him warm up if you're not going to bring him in here? You got Cole Wong and you got Carpenter, so you got 3 lefties in a row. And he does. And you like to think your pitcher can get any opposing pitcher out.
I mean, Morales to me was getting loose for Wong and Carpenter, but not the hard hitting. Well, not Mark with Jaime Garcia.
I mean, Ned Yost is listening to you too.
Interesting move. Here's Franklin Morales coming on with runners at first and third, and our Chevy called to the pen. He's got the scattering board. He's ready. Kansas City and St. Louis 2-0 Cardinals. Ventura lasted 3 innings. Moustakas 2 for 3. The Royals have 4 hits, all have been infield hits. Garcia pitching well, and John Jay 1 for 2 with a triple and an RBI. So Franklin Morales is into the game, the 24th appearance. Again, he's the lone lefty in the pen. So Blanton taken out with the pitcher coming up, runners at first and third. Is it an interesting move? You bet it is. Al does not agree.
No, I just, you know, the manager comes out there. And
how many times, though, have you seen a manager go to his bullpen so he can bring somebody in with a matchup with a pitcher?
It doesn't happen often,
yeah.
And especially with a veteran pitcher, but you know, the only thing that Ned Yost can say is, well, you didn't show me you could get a lefty out. You know, you got Hayward got a double up you. But
well, I'm not saying that the move won't pay off. It probably will. The odds are in his favor to do so. Your pitcher is up lefty here. It just, you know, the psyche of Joe Blanton maybe. There's a broken bat hit to second base, and they're out of the inning. I'm curious what Joe Blanton is going to say about it.
Well, he won't like it.
Morales gets Garcia 2-0 as we head to the 7th. At McDonald's. Jaime Garcia had one inning in which he ran into trouble. Infield hit. Moustakas then advanced to second on an error. Runner at second base. And nobody out. No one would score. Here's a look at some of the highlights from Garcia tonight. He has struck out 4. A key for him, no walks. And again, he has not given up a base hit that's left the infield. Good defense behind him. He's been efficient here this evening. Fun to watch.
Made a couple nice plays himself, but he's got a lot of ground balls going. Infielders are on their toes because he's pitching very effectively, pitching ahead in the count. That last pitch to Hosmer with runners at first and second, he was 0-2, and I said, don't throw another strike, meaning you hope that you throw something off the plate and they go fishing for it. Hosmer did with a breaking ball in the dirt.
Salvador Perez is 0-2. In that highlight package, you saw a play in which Carpenter was on the line. That was for Salvador Perez, and that's where Matt is here now to start the 7th. 0-1 pitch. Now 0-2. Perez struck out on a 3-2 changeup. First strikeout of the night for Garcia back in the second inning. And there's Carpenter 4 or 5 steps off the line. And the 0-2. In the air out to center field. There's John Jay. This should not be a surprise to Ned Yost. I mean, Garcia has been around a long time for the Cardinals, going back to 2010 and 11. He had back-to-back 13-win campaigns. Ned Yost was the manager of the Milwaukee Brewers and saw when Jaime was breaking in and pitching very well back then.
Oh, he knows about the Cardinals quite a bit. And I think he has a lot of respect for the Cardinal organization. I think both teams respect each other quite a bit.
For a long time, this was a lopsided matchup with the Cardinals year in and year out going to postseason play, and it seemed like the Royals were in a constant rebuild. And now those high draft choices like Alex Gordon at the plate have paid off. I mean, he's a terrific player. Perez is. Kane Moustakas, Escobar. I mean, the list goes on and on. Hosmer, all good young players.
Great bullpen. Even when they were rebuilding, the Cardinals dominated in Kansas City, and the Royals actually had a better record here in St. Louis. They had a winning record here in St. Louis.
Royals have won 4 of the past 5 between the two teams. Matter of fact, 10-6 since 08 here at Busch. And a strikeout of Gordon. 5 tonight for Jaime Garcia. Plaza Tire Service replay froze Gordon. 5 strikeouts tonight.
He's 1 strikeout away from 500 in his career.
Alex Rios.
Del Rios not quite ready, from that broken hand earlier in the season. Only played 7 games.
Fastball and a strike.
Hadn't hit real well coming back. Now that Cardinals' first 2 hitters, the top of the order, Wong and Carpenter, they have a right-hander warming up. And I think he's for Peralta.
Ground ball. There's Wong to his left. Let's stretch here at Busch Stadium. 9-pitch inning here, the 7th inning for Jaime Garcia. 2-0 St. Louis. Dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Best record through the first 60 games since 1945, and the Cardinals 39-21. You think about the injuries, and yes, they are big. Just think about this: if you play 500 from here on out, you're still in great shape.
90-plus wins. You're pushing 100 at 500.
Here's Colton Wong. That pitch taken high. Morales came in with runners at first and third to face Jaime Garcia. Got Garcia to ground out.
Wong is 0 for 1 against Morales. Carpenter is 0 for 5, but I doubt that Ned Yost, even with 2 outs, he may not let Franklin Morales face Johnny Peralta.
Two balls and a strike. Ryan Madsen getting loose, the former Red in Philly. Thought his career was over. Gave himself 1% chance to make it back, and here he is.
Good story.
Wong shoots it foul and out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And Madsen, and we'll talk more about it, but last time he pitched in the big leagues prior to this year was 2012.
Big gap in right center field. And a breaking ball froze Colton Wong. First strikeout for Morales. It's a pretty nasty breaking ball here.
Morales has been a big league pitcher for quite a while. He pitched in Colorado, and that ball looked like I thought it was going to hit Wong, and then you see it break as you give up on it. With that late movement, he gets the strikeout.
Carpenter with 10 strikeouts in his last 23 at bats. He struck out twice tonight. Also flied out to center. Fastball and a strike.
Wasn't it a week ago or last Saturday when he was hitting the tricep? Remember, he stayed in for about an inning. Couldn't throw, couldn't swing.
It was Clayton Kershaw that hit him.
Yeah, and since that time, the strikeouts have really piled up.
And the 0-1. Now 0-2.
Morales has been a good luck charm. He's got 3-0 with a ERA under 3.
I don't remember his curveball being this good. We've seen him pitch a bunch.
A lot of that was in Colorado, where it flattens out that curveball, but I agree with you.
That's a good example of Carpenter having to stay in, thinking it may break late, and it's a fastball up and in. It's a pretty tough game, Al.
Well, Carpenter's a tough guy. You know, we talked a little bit about the exhaustion he went through, and one of the things is just too much of a workaholic. We know how hard he works at the ballpark, but when you go on the road, you'll see during the day, you'll see him working out at the hotel also. He just doesn't know how to, kind of relax or let that body heal a little bit.
He told me that will not stop. He said, I'm a creature of habit. This is how I've always done it. I'll continue to do that. But they are going to try to work in more off days if they can. As Carpenter hits it up the middle, backhanded. On a hop to first, Hosmer with the pick, and what a play by Omar Infante.
I've always thought Infante was a good ball player. He'll stand out with an outstanding ball club. And he just kind of fits in, with and everything, but you'll see him elevate his play when he's got a chance to go to postseason.
It's a good play. Here's Peralta. Single to center in the first. Flying out to center. And on a 1-2 pitch, a base hit to left field in the 5th. His average is now at .320.
He's swinging the bat well right now. 2 outs, nobody on base. Madsen will just watch maybe the first runner, and they'll go to the bullpen again.
.320 now puts him in the top 10 of the National League in hitting. D. Gordon is at .356 at the start of play for Miami to lead the league. We get word on Yordano Ventura. The reason he left the game, right hand weakness. And tonight another big crowd, 45,909. 45,909. 12th sellout this year.
Ventura is such a young pitcher, but you think about right hand weakness, you think of nerves, and those nerves coming from the shoulder or elbow down into the hand.
Peralta, little bloop into right, and a 3-hit night for Johnny Peralta.
Triple Crown winner for the Cardinals right now, leads in average, home runs, and RBIs. And another big night, and as predicted, he knocks out Franklin Morales. There's the breaking ball, but coming into it, stays about right there around the waist, and that's too high.
So the Royals will go back to their bullpen. They are out of lefties. So Chevy called to the pen. We'll tell you about the change when we come back. At Peralta at first and 2 down. Code Cards, lowest catchers ERA, Molina and Perez on that list. Not many thought Ryan Madson would make it back to the major leagues. He's 34, and before this season, it had been 4 years since he had thrown a meaningful pitch in the major leagues. Remember, he had a 32-save season with Philadelphia. Then Tommy John surgery threatened basically everything. He was only throwing BP to his 8- and 9-year-old sons on a Little League team that he was coaching. But he wanted to give it one more shot, and here he is.
Remember when he first came to the big leagues with Philadelphia and how impressive he was, and you thought this guy would be around a long time in that relief role. And right over the top, remember, a good slider.
He said what got the itch back was watching the Kansas City Royals and that dynamic bullpen. Holland, Davis, Carrera. And Reynolds, a swing and a miss. He strikes out. Madson, quick work of Mark Reynolds. We head to the 8th. Cards on top. And a Bomberito Sports Update. How about Jaime Garcia here tonight? Against the Mets, it was 7 innings. Arizona 6, Milwaukee 7, LA 7, and tonight pitching into the 8th.
Been outstanding and just allowed 4 infield singles, no walks. He struck out 5. He has been in control. He's thrown 87 pitches, 67 of them strikes.
Showing bunt. Omar Infante, we're underway. Infante, and then we'll see a pinch hitter and Alcides Escobar. Kendrys Morales has moved to the on-deck circle.
So real key to get this leadoff hitter. Get him all out. So a home run hitter can't tie the ball game. This is the 26th batter that Jaime has faced tonight, and he's had first pitch strikes in 18 of the 26. This one he did not.
Here's a 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Even though he didn't throw a first pitch strike here, he's still pitching ahead in the count.
Jaime is at 90 pitches. Cardinals are 5 spots away from his spot in the lineup. And it's held on to by Molina. Strikeout number 6 tonight.
That's number 500 of Jaime's career. See, he's thrown 29 in the 3rd innings without a walk. Once again, the first start of the year he walked 5, and he hasn't walked a batter since that in the next 4 starts.
Morales, a switch hitter this side of the plate. His lesser side in terms of power. One of his 7 home runs from the right side of the plate. And Morales this season as a pinch hitter is 1 for 1. Look at those numbers against the Cardinals. Mentioned it earlier, .419 average in his career. He's had 47 at bats as a pinch hitter over the course of his career, always known as a hitter. 255 as a pinch hitter. And a high chopper left side. There's Carpenter. 2 down. Just thinking ahead here, you're at 93 pitches. Garcia has been efficient. Last inning, it was a 9-pitch inning. This inning could happen very quickly where he gets the 3 outs. If you're Mike Matheny, do you even think about tinkering and letting Garcia finish what he started?
Well, the way that Mike manages, and every time there's a save situation, he goes to his bullpen and his closer Rosenthal. So I think you can also sell Jaime on the deal is, look, we don't want you to get to that many pitches. You're still recovering from shoulder surgery. You got a great outing. We're going to keep it all positive. And you know, the other thing that, you know, a lot of these relievers, particularly closers, they want to start an inning. They don't want to come in with men on base. So, you know, Lee Smith one time said, well, you know, I don't like to come in with men on base. I said, well, no kidding. It's a lot easier to start an inning. But, and a lot of guys like Lee or something, you know, were easy to run off of. So you didn't want to bring them on into a game with runners on. That's not the case with Rosenthal.
Alcides Escobar.
Here's your answer. Rosenthal is thrown in the bullpen right now.
1-1. Hit to right. There's Hayward. Jaime Garcia. A 9-pitch 8th inning. What a night for the Cardinals lefty. Rain has stayed away. We've had a nice night for baseball here in St. Louis. 2-0, and the story is the pitching of Jaime Garcia. He's allowed 4 hits. All 4 have been infield hits. Here's Luke Hochevar making his 10th appearance. Our Chevy called to the pen. Former University of Tennessee product.
He was first pick overall for Kansas City back in 2006. He's coming off of Tommy John surgery, injured himself in spring training last year.
Represented at one point by Scott Boras, and he wound up staying at college after being drafted a couple of times out of high school. Then again early on in his collegiate career. And there's a look at Garcia, and it paid off as Hochevar became the top pick.
6'5", 225. Good size, had everything going for him.
Comes from a very athletic family. His sister Brittany is a standout at Long Beach State volleyball, now playing on the Pro Beach volleyball tour. And the 0-2 pitch, breaking ball, and popped foul off the bat of Yadier Molina.
How about his dad? His dad Brian played professional basketball with the Denver Nuggets in 1979. Mother played college basketball and volleyball for Southern Colorado.
Here's an 0-2 pitch. Fastball.
And we can't forget younger brother Dylan, who pitched for the University of Tennessee and Tullahoma College.
Hyundai pitch arsenal for Hochevar. Fastball, the knuckle curve, and a sinker. Molina has popped out a couple of times. Also flied out to right. Back in the 6th when he popped out, it was Eric Hosmer reaching into the stands and making a fine play.
Small sample size, but Hochevar this year, his ERA on the road is 9, at home 360. But just say, trying to build up that arm strength coming up back from Tommy John.
Last complete game for Jaime Garcia, a 2-hitter against Milwaukee, May 6th of 2011. Hochevar doesn't get that call. Twice he thought he had Molina struck out. Rosenthal is standing on the mound in the bullpen, and many times if the starting pitcher is going to be taken out and he knows his night is through, you see the handshakes, the smiles, people talking to him.
Yeah, but
initially didn't see that.
Yeah.
Now we see him.
That's what I was saying. I was trying to figure out when you saw his head in his hands sitting on the bench, whether he was reflecting about the 9th inning or was he saying, oh, I wish I had a chance to go out for the 9th. But Rosenthal did replace Segras and Maness with 2 outs in the 8th inning. So he's been throwing for quite a while, and that's one of the reasons why he's standing up here with nobody out yet.
3-2 pitch. And this time he gets Molina. Saturday, it's baseball night in America on Fox. Showdown between the Reds and Cubs. Coverage begins Saturday at 6, only on Fox. It's been Ventura, Blanton, Morales, Madsen, and now Hochevar. And the shift on here for Jason Hayward.
Standing up in 5 starts for Jaime Garcia, the Cardinals have scored a total of 8 runs. 3 times shut out. He could very possibly be 5-0.
And the 1-0.
Jaime again.
Looking back at the last complete game that he had, It is quite the starting infield from 2011 in that afternoon. Here's a 2-0. Nick Punto, third base. The Riot, Ryan Terrio at shortstop. Tyler Green at second base, and Albert Pujols at first. Last time that Garcia had a complete game.
There's your one run. Go get him. Sometimes those guys appreciate, and they'll play great defense, scramble, and give you everything they got. The bomb squad, Sunday lineup. We got Albert in there. We had a chance.
3-1 the count on Jason Hayward. Now a really pronounced shift here. Almost all four infielders on the right side. That's as pronounced a shift I think I've ever seen. The shortstop, third baseman, second baseman, and first baseman all on the second base side. The shortstop, Escobar, was maybe 2 steps away from being on the second base side of the bag. Look at that. How do you not think about dropping down the butt or just poking it the other way? Easier said than done.
Yeah, and then he walks you.
Take the walk. Here's Randall Grichuk with a runner at first base. Hayward certainly a threat to steal.
A lot of times someone as tall as Hochevar, they got slow feet and easy to get a good jump, and wouldn't hurt to get an insurance run here, would it?
6 stolen bases this year for Hayward. That's the pitch right there, and talking with Randall Grichuk that he's really trying to improve upon with plate coverage, middle outer half, and being able to go the other way. We saw that opposite field home run against the Rockies on Wednesday. Again, they set up outside. And a check on Hayward.
Got that quick bat. He's adjusted his batting stance, add a little flatter so he can quicker to the ball. He's going to throw behind the runner and lost the handle, and the ball looked like it bounced him on top of the head.
Grichuk with a fly ball into right center, and it's dropped. It gets away. Hayward was at the bag at second. He will score. Grichuk racing for third. 3-0 Cardinals. A misplay in right by Rios, and the Cardinals' Jason Hayward makes it 3-0 St. Louis.
I think Lorenzo Cain, the center fielder, didn't take charge on that ball. And the right fielder and center fielder just kind of shied away from it, and it falls between them. It should have been caught. It was a broken bat, and you could see there's Rios trying to backhand it, but I think Lorenzo Cain, with his speed, should have taken charge on that ball. Hayward, see him running here. He's one out, then he sees it down, and he circles the bases.
Costly errand right by Rios. And now it's John Jay with the infield drawn in, and Jay hits a fly ball out to left. You'll see a great arm here. Catch made by Gordon. He'll fire to the plate, and he did not get him. Grichuk beat the throw, and what a throw it was from Alex Gordon in left.
And they scored that a triple for Grichuk. So Grichuk hits a triple, the RBI. You said Gordon with that great arm, and so many assists out there from left field to convert a third baseman. And he made another strong throw here, but it's just a little bit. You see the on-deck hitter, Borges, was trying to tell him slide to the foul side. The throws to the infield side, and because of that, he comes in safe. So the umpire right there in great position to see that. See him touch the front part of the plate, and now Borges pinch hits.
How good of a throw is that from Gordon in left field? And now it's a 4-run lead for St. Louis. Good job by Borges, as you mentioned, Al. He's essentially your base coach, the on-deck man on that play, and telling him which direction to slide to and to make sure that he does slide.
And now with it not being a save situation, Rosenthal sits and Segrist gets up. How good was he in his last outing in Colorado? Striking out 4 of 5.
And a ground ball that's hit to short. Escobar. Outstanding inning for St. Louis. What a slide here by Randall Grichuk to beat the throw of Alex Gordon. 4-0 Cardinals. Kevin Segrist, our Chevy, called to the pen. 30th appearance, as Al alluded to last inning. He struck out 4 of 5 that he saw in Colorado. Hit 97 on the gun, by the way, the other day, too.
Well, we're starting to see the velocity that was up when he first came onto the scene and virtually unhittable with a 0.45 ERA in 2013. Peter Borges stays in the game. He's playing center field.
And what a night for Jaime Garcia. 8 innings, no runs, 4 hits, 0 walks, and he struck out 6. Segrist gets Moustakas. Strike 1. Molina's pointing out something to the home plate umpire. And he's pointing to something in center field. I'm not sure what it is.
It's the batter's eye. They got the Ford sign still up there. It hasn't turned around. Now it's closed up. Yachty, when they're at the plate, don't help them out by giving them a better batter's eye.
Yeah, and he'd say, Al, I'm trying to catch a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and I can't quite pick it up.
That's true, too. You're going to help your pitcher, or you're going to help yourself? It's all about the pitcher.
I'm not taking one in the head. Moustakas 1 for 3. And a 1-1 pitch. Now, what we've seen from Segrist, too, is that when the velocity was down, it's not just rearing back and throwing it. I mean, you really got to pitch. You got to integrate the curveball, change up if you can.
Well, that's it too. But because of that velocity, people are at the mercy of the off-speed pitches being strikes.
2-1 out of play, and it's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, we just got finished with the draft, and it's hard to believe this guy fell to the 41st round, which does not even exist anymore. Kevin Segrist. The 2-2.
Moustakas done a good job this offseason, really cutting down his strikeouts, putting more balls in play, trying to utilize all the field. And you can see in the outfield they're playing him around to the left.
The 2-2. Moustakas robbed by Colton Wong in the first inning. Good play, ranging to his right. Then had an infield hit in the 4th and an infield hit in the 6th. 2 of the 4 Kansas City hits here in Game 1 of this weekend series. 3-2 pitch on its way. Ground ball on a hop. Long throw, Peralta. 1 away. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Lorenzo Cain, infield hit in the 6th. Key spot in this game was back in the 4th inning. Moustakas had reached with the infield hit. Wong committed a throwing error. A runner at second. Moustakas, nobody out, with Cain, Hosmer, and Perez coming up, and the Cardinals leading 2-0 at that point. Garcia was able to get Cain to ground out to second base. Then Hosmer, 1 out runner at third, popped out to Colton Wong. And then Salvador Perez, with Carpenter playing on the line, ended the threat.
And now Greg Rogers is having a good time tonight. He's got his bachelor party here at the game, and they're all enjoying this one the way it's turning out. You know, the thing about Segrist is he has such an easy motion, and that ball just jumps out of his hand.
And the 0-2 pitch. That's right where Molina wanted it. I mean, pinpoint. Got him. 2 down. Jaime Garcia, the Budweiser player of the game, 96 pitches, 8 innings, 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, no walks. This big crowd will rise. Hosmer, the final hope.
Cardinals have already played in 12 shutouts. They're 6-6, trying to get on the positive side of shutouts this year.
1-0 pitch to Hosmer. 2 balls, no strikes.
And last year the Cardinals Central Division champions, but they really couldn't win a ball game unless they scored 4 runs. This year, with the great pitching they've had, still a struggle with less than 4 runs, but much better.
2-0 pitch. Hosmer rips it into right field. The first base hit that's not an infield hit for Kansas City.
And we'll see if that knocks out Segras. Actually need one more runner before it'd be a save situation.
Reynolds will play behind the runner. Extends the ball game to Salvador Perez. And a ball inside. Molina wants time. Perez tonight struck out on a 3-2 pitch, a changeup in the second inning. We talked about the key ground out off his bat to end a threat. And he also flied out to center. Hitless tonight, 0 for 3.
You know, Kevin, you see this, you know, the lefties have good success against him. And he was a starter a lot in the minor leagues, but they say you want to get to the big leagues, you go into the bullpen.
2-0 pitch. This should do it. Popped up left side. Carpenter wants it. He's got it. And the Cardinals have win number 40 this year.
They're now 23-7 at home, the best record in the major leagues. And what a job by Jaime Garcia tonight. He was outstanding.
It's on to the post-game show. Rick Horton, Pat Paris standing by with all the highlights. What a night for the lefty Jaime Garcia. Post-game show comes your way next.